about. I just fancied a change. So yeah, if you have any like topics you want me to speak about, let me know. Otherwise, I'll just start bunnying, basically. So what I can tomorrow at 8 p.m. GMT, I'll be doing a live stream with somebody that you'll want to see, I'm sure. What else do I have to tell you? Yeah, not much really. Back at the park Sunday, watching Afghanistan with like in trepidation, I guess, at the stories. One of which is that Britain will not, facilitate safe passage of children without their parents. I also read a really distressing story about women throwing their children, like attempting to throw them over barbed wire to get them to safety, and none of them were able to even make the arc of where they'd been thrown. So that was pretty distressing. Yeah, without any interaction, I'm like, yeah, I don't know what it is I should talk about, but obviously it will be religion. And yeah, if you have any ideas, hit me up with them. There's one heresy, I know, Jordan, it's just utterly, like, it's just ridiculous. I do understand that this problem has been like bolstered by the West in the past by, Islamizing, let's say, when the Soviets were involved. Like, however, it doesn't mean we have to now stand idly by and watch the repercussions. So yeah, although at the same time, I would have thought that taking the problem out at the root rather than accommodating tens of thousands of refugees and just like, I don't know what Biden's doing. I don't think Biden knows what Biden's doing, to be honest. But yeah, it's a pretty depressing topic. And there are, of course, Christians there, but the majority, I imagine, if it's similar to other places in that region, the majority of Christians are former Muslims, so they're doubly at danger. Saw like a bizarre defacing of a beauty salon. The picture of the woman outside was like, it was pretty dark, to be honest. The eyes were blacked out, the mouth was crossed over. It was and it was the opposite of a niqab, if you see what I mean. Like, it wasn't the face that was being blacked out. It was, the features that could be considered beautiful, I suppose. That's true, Jordan, although there can be political pressure brought, I don't know if Biden's even awake. Certainly Boris Johnson is, I don't know, he's got his own problems, his own issues. But yeah, it's not to say that there isn't an argument to be said for the West to just stop meddling. However, because we've partly caused this, coming and going, we've riled up extreme Islam whilst in the former era, and then watched the Taliban have the strictest adherence, and now sitting idly by going, no, it'll be fine. They said that they'll uphold women's rights under Islamic, dichotomy kind of thing, and they have to find the women's rights first to protect them. And seeing as though there aren't any, they're not lying, but it's pretty genius PR, really. So yeah, there's that. But I don't want to talk about depressing stuff unless I have to. So, Jordan, it seems that you have the controls. Yeah, if you've got a topic. Oh, hi, Senpai. Yeah, if you have something. Threshing floor. The last time I checked, yeah, I did look at my birth certificate recently, actually, for some admin purposes, and you're not on there. So, to be fair, even if you were, like, I doubt my dad would be like that. So rather than shushing, I could just change topic. And I was just in the middle of giving that option to Jordan to choose when, excuse me. Yeah, I'm fine. Thank you very much. Cheers. Don't know, the barman is weirdly concerned with me pointing a camera at a brick wall. So I could speak about the power of prayer. I could speak about manners, of course, but I take them for granted. It seems that others don't have that problem. Okay, the yeah, let me just set up my tripod thingy if I can. Who knows at this stage of the game? Let's see if I can stop showing you my chin and be balanced. It's you were. I don't know what you said because it flashed off the screen, whoever that was. But yeah, I'm a grammar Nazi. Ralph. Right, so I guess in terms of, yeah, I knew somebody once, not that long ago. I still know them, to be fair. And I was just like horrified because I realised after successive conversations that they truly believed that they could act or behave or think in a way that would mean that God loved them less. And that just broke my heart because I tried to, like, which is pretty standard, I tried to put myself into that position and I quickly decided I would never leave the house again, like if I thought that was truly the case. And I can't imagine how they came to that position, because none of the verses that I know of speaks of God having anything other than perfect love. And it also, I mean, his behaviour certainly towards, for example, the Amalekites would not be considered overly affectionate. However, they were in response to the treatment of the Israelites, who were his chosen. So yeah, even coming back to the New Testament, I don't know of any verses which speak about it speaks about being severed from Christ, you know, like losing salvation, basically. However, that's not because God loves us any less. It's because his moral stance, he is morally perfect, and it's not that he cannot, I don't like using that word for God, but he won't change his stance on sin, because it's not within his nature. He is utter goodness, moral perfection, and sin is just not. It's the opposite of that almost, where it's far along this on the spectrum, you know, diametrically opposed to it. So he won't love us. He can't love us anymore either, if you think of it, because whilst we were yet sinners, whilst we were as detestable as, you know, we are, or the most detestable of us in human terms, because God sees it all pretty much the same. Yeah, he didn't. That's the time he chose for the sacrificial love. You know, the greatest event in the history of any world, like ever, the crucifixion and the resurrection. He did that whilst we were full of, even his disciples couldn't really get it together in totality to believe and to stay in that faith enough to move mountains, or to, you know, to stop Satan prowling around, as it were. So that's what I think about that, Jordan. Yeah, Ralph, what are you up to, lovey, apart from watching me? Yeah, if anyone, I think it may be time for a chit chat. And I just noticed a no smoking sign on the wall, and yet I'm out in the fresh air. Like, where does totalitarianism end? Like, for real. I wonder if I sit not near the sign, like if it makes a difference to the way the wind blows. But we'll find out soon. So anyway, let me come back to the live chat without wobbling over my tripod thingy. Blood fires just straight in with the affection. Very John. Yeah, yeah, play nicely now, boys. So what were Jordan's other suggestions? I can't think. What I would like continuing on potentially about Sharia, like I was saying yesterday, there are different interpretations, different schools of jurisprudence, etc. But just rest assured that the Taliban's past examples of how they adhere and how they view, I don't believe that's going to change. If it does seem to change, that will be politics rather than theology. They will just be doing what most politicians do, which is kind of act nicey at the beginning. Although I wouldn't say they've been too nice at the moment. There are cases, you know, like women just being beaten at the airports. And I think there's a case, I may have some of the details wrong, but she's a young lady who speaks English. I'm not driving. Beef, not me. No, I could fall off the floor. So I won't be taking control of no. No, just the feet and the floor for me, thanks. So yeah, there's a case of a girl who's just stranded at the airport. They don't have visas. One girl was one of the 12 victims of the stampede. I can't believe it. Do you know why it's raining, by the way, if you can hear that? because I came out without a jacket or an umbrella, obviously. I'm just going to come off my subject and answer the question of what would WWJD. Yes. Yes is the answer. So the question for anybody, like when this video is processing and it's waiting for its live chat back, it says when Jesus was dead in the tomb, was his spirit still alive? We know this for a certainty because we know that he went to Hades and preached to the spirits therein. That is the gospel, like that's in the account. He went and he would have been preaching to those prior to the Noahide, like, before the floods. And what he preached to them was that the kingdom is near, etc. So, yeah, he went into Sheol, to Hades specifically, and did that. He didn't even have 3 days off. He was working the whole time. And then, of course, before his ascension, he remained with the disciples for some time, cooked for them, made them some breakfast, answered their questions, did some like show and tells, as it were, with Thomas, spoke to Peter extensively also. So yeah, he continued. He didn't rest, as it were. Hope that answers your question. Any more, or have I just come off the chat again? Is Ralph still here, I wonder? Hi, Dragon. Yeah, so any questions would be all right, I guess, like not mental theological ones, although I don't mind, but like ones that have potentially pithy answers, even though I'm a known waffler. That'd be great. If you could get right on that, people, I'd appreciate it. Right, so I wonder, is John still here as well? I'll be at the park anyway, Sunday. Looking forward to seeing where the Nation of Islam turn up, because I can't imagine, other than that they brought them themselves, why they had such a crowd. Did Jesus have a girlfriend? It says gave a girlfriend, but I know that's a typo. Jesus did not marry, of course. I don't know what your faith or your knowledge of the Christian scripture is, faithfully, but no, he had no wife, and it's not recorded that he had any amorous, no, it's not recorded. So no, he does have there's a specific disciple that is called the beloved disciple. This is obviously not in terms of amorous relationships, but I'm saying it is pointed out when that sort of thing. Although there is just a tiny bit of contention, not within orthodoxy as in what's accepted, but there's at least one other theory which, just by going with scripture, I find quite semi-compelling, I suppose, because I haven't really looked into it too much, but there's some good verses, some really convincing verses to back it up that it's not John, who is usually the one. Quite dim here, isn't it? I just noticed how dark it was on the screen, but never mind. So this no smoking sign, I wonder. Right, any more questions? John, are you coming on Sunday? I think he's nipped out, potentially. Threshing floor. Apostle Paul? I have no idea what you're talking about, threshing floor. Are you sure you've got the right person, love? Seriously, I never say anything about... I love Paul. Obviously not, maybe you're confusing my comments towards Paul Williams, but the Apostle Paul, no, we're like that, as it were. So now it's quite bright, if I move my head there. So yeah, I have no idea what you're talking about. If it's Paul, I don't think about him that often. Yeah, that's it. No, I've got no issues with Saul, of Tarsus. Sure, you can send me the thingies of me. I don't know what you think I'm saying. But yeah, that'd be fine. Yes, Shaun of the Dead. They say to each other, that's one of the catch lines. He's like, Pop. And then they say, we'll just go to the Winchester, have a drink, and wait for it all to blow over. Right. I just like Simon Pegg. Hi, Cor. I also liked Sean Locke. I was watching him. Let me move my camera slightly because of having that guy in the background. You might not realise. But yeah, I really did like him. And now, bizarrely, like, he said such funny things, like about his potential obituary, his funeral, his things like that. And now they're just like springing into my mind. Obviously, he was joking. But yeah, just a weird one because obviously he knew that he was terminal, but he didn't make it public, so it seemed pretty shocking for everybody else. But that is life, and that is another reason why salvation is not to be like trifled with, and you may as well just like make the leap if you're thinking about it. What's the worst that can happen, you know? Although, to be fair, you can't really do it until you're given, like you're granted the repentance and stuff. But yeah, I would give it a good go. That's just my opinion, because nothing negative happens. That? I don't know. I don't have a frog in my... Potentially. I mean, I don't know. I think maybe that's a joke and I'm just not getting it. Oh, The World's End. Yeah, I've seen that as well. The pub crawl. They're trying to get their groove back on. Yeah, I like Simon Pegg. I like comedy. You may have noticed. But I was thinking the other day, like more people, it seems, not that it's my opening line, like when I see people, but Life of Brian, like such a iconic classic film, and yet many people, like, I don't know if it's younger people or what, but they just haven't seen it, and I'm like flabbergasted every time someone says they haven't seen a Monty Python film. I'm just like, yeah, I think maybe these lights are just ever so unflattering, but never mind, I will move in it as soon as I test out this theory. Excuse me, what? So, yeah, questions, please. No postcard necessary, as it were. The way, truth, and life, yes. All of it. We found this spoon, sir. It's just like, come on. It's just, and when I'm at Speaker's Corner, I often, if I go past, like, no, maybe a preacher I don't know or something, oh, Jordan, please do, it's compulsory. Please do. But yeah, there's a scene where he's running from the authorities and he goes past all these mental preachers. It just reminds me of Speaker's Corner. Like, I don't know, I get that vibe sometimes. But yeah, absolutely. No problem. Everybody brace yourselves. It's going to be a big, massive noise over there. He's very considerate of it. Maybe he'll do them one by one. Yes, we are all individual. But yeah, I was all right, tell me 20 minutes early, the dude. And then I'm just like trying not to start a sentence. Okay, yeah, any questionos? Yeah, tomorrow at 8 I'll be speaking, hopefully, like polemicizing Islam with a friend of mine who you all know and love. So that was very quiet. I didn't even... I'm joking. Okay. Yes. Good advice there, Threshing Floor. Thank you very much. Excellent. Well done. It's like, it's open air. There are certain rules, like the nonsensical. Oh, out of the blue, by the way, the Pope, I didn't read the article, but apparently he said that getting the vaccine is an act of love. So, I mean, he's not speaking ex cathedra, obviously, but it's a pretty weird statement for a medication that hasn't been given any longevity studies. But I just thought I'd pass it out there. I'm like, yeah. I think many Catholics are not that satisfied with this Pope, although if they were only to look into history, they'd realise they had a peach compared to some of the old timers. But yeah, I got Islam to polemicise, to be fair, so I'm going to steer clear of the papacy. Not that I can't, but what can you do? Exactly, Threshing Floor, barely any testing and no legal recourse, and in a certain amount of years, I could just hear the newscaster saying, well, of course, scientists of the early 2020s didn't realise that it caused, I don't know, fish gills to grow on your kneecaps, or, you know what I mean? And it's not a vaccine at all, exactly. It doesn't prevent you from, it's not an inoculation in any sense. It doesn't give you any immunity. It just kind of I think it tempers any symptoms, although people can have a full-blown virus. There he is. And have... Let me just wait. I think I'll be moving because this people's conversation, I believe, is private. Where was I with that? Yeah, it just tempers the symptoms, but you can... Hey! No. Okay, wait. Sorry. And then Dane Scarlett and Noel Jones, the kids up front, we brought him. Gorgeously named Brian Hill. Yeah. Well, no, he's the Spanish one, isn't he? This could take all night, to be fair. No, somebody throwing all the bottles away because I'm in the beer garden. And I shall be moving shortly just to another table, to be fair, because there's some people sitting there. And obviously, I don't think they realise they're being broadcast. Could tell them, but where's the fun? Where's the fun in that? But then I'm going to have to move somewhere pretty darkish. No, if I sit on the edge of... Okay, I know where. Oh, no problem at all. No problem. That's a good question, Threshing Floor. He has, Lewis, has a film... There is a film of his life coming out soon. I'm not too sure. You know, I know that Spurgeon said that he smoked cigars to the glory of the Lord, but obviously that's not Lewis. Yeah, I am moving. Okie dokie. Right, give me 30 seconds. I mean, there's an argument to do that when you're in the Europa League. It's football chat. Right. Throw that in there. There are fewer teams in it, so right. 32, 64. Take the cushion with me. Here we go. Straight group stages. If you win your group, you're in the Let's. Still need sunlight though. Right. Maybe. I don't know. Let's find out. Yeah, that'll do. I guess. Whatevs. Not as pretty in the background, I'm afraid. But. Yeah, I don't think that's the draw really. So yeah, where was I? So yeah, tomorrow I'll be speaking about miracles, the Quran, polemicizing Islam again. It's what I like to do. To be fair, it keeps me off the streets. So in that respect, Islam is a bit of a blessing because it gives us all something to do. Like destroying it, as the Bible says, it should be torn down, all the false arguments, etc. So let me just yeah, but well, Threshing Floor is telling me that there's a bulb that's a moth trap. I have little sympathy for moths. They're too big and fluffy, and the shadows they cast just make them look like Godzilla-esque, you know, like the size of those monsters. Repent is telling me that this morning Sam Shimoon had on his channel, I guess, a really a magnificent testimony of a sister in Christ who is in London. That's excellent. Yeah, he's yeah, bless him. I do. Yeah, I've had my moments with him, but I appreciate his efforts and his knowledge, etc. Yeah, so that's good. I didn't realise he was into kind of testimonies as such. Actually, that's not true because I know he does re-upload other people's stuff that he's found compelling. So yeah, maybe I'll. Well, she says with 200 videos in the watch later list, and that's just the watch later, not the theology and the apologetics. Threshing Floor is asking me, am I the only Christian in my family? No, far from it. I have many sisters. My brother is. Yeah, my brother, one of my sisters, another one of my sisters is Roman Catholic, another two are atheist, I think the other one's probably agnostic or something like that. Yeah, my mum is a Christian, my dad is an atheist, so yeah, pretty eclectic. The funeral we just went to, I changed it from a non-religious service to a religious one, even though I'm not utterly sure of the faith of the deceased. However, as my brother said, it's a good time when people are pondering their mortality. Like, that's a brilliant time to give them hope, as Paul also pointed out in Timothy. So yeah, right, let's come back to the chit chat. Yeah, I have many friends who are not Christian. One of my oldest friends, two of my oldest friends. I don't mean they are old. I mean two of the friends that I've had for the longest throughout my life are both. They're both female, and they are both atheist. And it's just started raining, and now I'm not under the thingy. Oh, can I be bothered? Whatever. So yeah, I don't. Man like H is such a troll. Does it? No, that's not me at all. And I don't live on a caravan site either. So there's that. But yeah, they're both atheists. One of them pretty militant. One of them, I get, like, doesn't ever want to be rude. Like, they've got a copy of the Quran that someone gave them, and they just like keep it out of some like weird pseudo respect for religious belief. I'm just gonna move half my shizzle underneath an umbrella. Give me 30 seconds. I shall be back. Ridiculous. Right, here's me again. Do excuse the seasickness that you may be feeling at the moment. Right, this is my final move, like I swear, until I go. So, where was I? Yeah, surrounded. My dad's an atheist. He's quite an ardent atheist. He seems to think that Ricky Gervais and who's the other guy? George Carlin. That they're like sources to be cited. But he does listen to, I think, Sam, what's his name? That psychologist dude as well. Sam Harris? Yeah, I think so. Dragon, they're so weird you brought up that verse. I just brought, when I went to this shop at St. Paul's the other week to buy somebody some Protestant rosary, like some Anglican prayer beads. And I bought myself a print of that picture, the light of the world. So thank you, Jordan. So I changed the service. To be fair, the funeral director, who called me Poppet, by the way, it's so sweet. Poppet. So I changed it, and then he sent me 2 versions for me to like amend or add my verses, or put in work like the eulogy and stuff like that. And one of them, it said a spiritual service, and the other one said Christian light, as in like Diet Coke or something. To be honest, it wasn't. I don't know. I didn't bother looking at the spiritual one, obviously, but the guy was lovely who officiated, but it was very bizarre. Like, I asked him, he's an ordained minister. I said, which church? And he didn't answer me immediately. Like, I just wanted to know the theology, I guess. It wouldn't have made a difference. Like, I'm not going to get the cleaner in to do it. But then he was like, oh, no, it doesn't. Like, I've done Hindu, Buddhist. And I was like, okay. Like, it's just odd. Like, I think I may have quoted a bit of Titus at him. But we got on fine in the end, because he called me Poppet, and I just thought that was so cute. But yeah, so that's what happened with that. And it went all right, but it was an awfully long, like, it was out of London, let's put it that way. Like, it was 20 times more travelling than the service took to do. So yeah, he was pretty proud of it, Jordan, of like officiating, like, and performing these like pagan, I guess, or services, etc. But surely you would just have a non-religious one for anyone who is other than Christian if you're an ordained minister. Yes, he called me trouble at one point when I called back for something else. I was like, how does he know my middle name? Yeah, he was a nice guy. That's the thing. Even as a minister, like, I've spoken to other ministers who are woefully ignorant of Islam, for example, or like, it's just embarrassing. Like, a Catholic friend of mine and I, the priest, I guess we backed him into a corner, really. Like, I just whacked it on him some point of Catholic doctrine, and the guy I told him the verse, and he was like, "Oh, I'd have to look into it," and I was just like, What do you mean you have to look at, like, what? Because especially with Catholicism, maybe Orthodoxy, I'm not sure, but they must accept all of it. There's no like, I'll take that bit and I'm like reserved on these other things. You should embrace all of it, especially those things that are declared ex cathedra, such as the Marian doctrines, etc. I'm more of a, I don't know, inquiring mind, I guess. Yes, threshing floor. I remember that advertising. That was just, so he's speaking about, there was an advert for Amazon or some deliveries. Yeah, I think it was Amazon, with a priest and a vicar. A priest and an imam, like sending each other parcels, and it was all very J.R. Hartley. Like, I don't know if you get the reference. It was all pretty like genteel, and and I find it bizarre that for the prevailing narrative is usually anti-Christian, anti-Christ obviously, but anti-Christian specifically, and then it'd be different if it was anti-God. I mean, it's obviously anti the true God, but I mean just in general, the idea of a God. However, like, it's not. When it's Allah, it's all very like 1970s, like so in the 70s and the 80s, for example, in Britain at least, the TV could, like, comedy shows were sometimes openly but not racist in a vicious, aggressive way, but just racial stereotypes were played up for laughs. We had there was a series called, I think, Love Thy Neighbour. There was Alf Garnett, I can't remember what it was called, but either way, now it's like somehow the opposite, that you're able, if you're a globalist or a social justice warrior, you're allowed to say and do the most outrageous things. And I pray, like, hopefully, eventually we will look back on those instances in the same, like, slightly embarrassed fashion that we look at our our light entertainment of those decades. Because I, for one, I don't find it offensive. It's not meant to be offensive. Like, it's not to offend, and therefore why should, even if I found it distasteful, the option is ever there for anyone who's not found it. There's always an off button. Like, you just don't watch it. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I find myself, I won't say triggered, but irked, irritated very often if I make the mistake of looking at the mainstream, and then I go, oh yeah, you idiot, you've done it again. You're the one who's, like, tuning into them. You're the one who's reading this newspaper knowing full well, like, what their values are or what they pretend their values are. So, like, it's my responsibility to not, because they're very, very subtle, psychologically speaking. Like, some of it is Machiavellian. Like, it's pretty impressive just in terms of propagandizing and subverting the narrative, etc. So, I mean, like, hats off to them. They're committed to the cause. Is that just random, like, throwing out random statements, pushing floor? No, I got it. Do you know what? Weirdly, like, word blindness, I read it correctly, even though it had been written incorrectly. I think, though, even in terms of that verse, when Christ tore down the curtain, it means we can approach with confidence, like the Holy of Holies, as it were. So, we can actually, the Father is in Christ and Christ is in the Father, and therefore we can know. He says, if you have seen me, you have, okay, the electric's gone. Someone put 50 pence in the meter. I don't know if they're activated by motion. Potentially they are. So, the wokeness in the church is satanic, quite frankly. Somebody sent me a video. Rest assured, when you send me video links in the comments, they don't show up, but I do see them when I get around to check in my held for review. So somebody, and I apologise, could have been Fresh in Floor, to be honest, I can't remember. Somebody sent me a video of a female, I think a Lutheran pastor in Germany, who had opened up her church because of social restrictions in terms of occupancy of buildings. At the same time, the mosque had said they can only have 50 people in at a time, yada yada yada, sob story, etc. And this pastor lady had flung open the doors. Great, yay! Not so much. Thank you, a bit cringy. And And so then they showed the obligatory, like, kumbaya, you know, all the Muslims praying in the church, and everyone's just meant to be like, yay, they're cursing Christians and invoking Satan, whatever. That aside, wait till you get to the crux of it. Afterwards, the pastor, maybe I'll re-upload it, to be fair. Thank you to whoever sent it to me. But yeah, after that, the pastor was like, she said, I find it very, I'm misquoting her and butchering it, but this was the gist of it. I find it very edifying that we're able to like help each other out. I don't know what they did to help her out. Jack's Grizzle is my guess, apart from cursing her during their prayers and her God, or like the followers of her God. Either way, she said, and I actually joined in with the prayers, and and I was just like, dude, this is what I mean about woefully ignorant. Like, it's, you know, ignorance is no defense, as it were. However, it's a mitigating factor. If you don't know, like years ago, I think I thought, well, there's only one God, so there can't be another God, so Allah must be God, and they've all just got it like horrifically wrong, car crash style. But that's not the case, because we do see that there is a small g God. I know, I don't know if she used the word edifying, but she was trying to say like how great it was. And it's not. But okay, I think someone's just started up a quartet on their own. But yeah, so yeah, she's a donut. Like, it was just embarrassing. Exactly. This is the thing. If you're the other thing is, if you're a minister or a teacher, big red G, that's funny. A wild donkey of a book. But yeah, so if you're a minister, you're under more punishment, to be fair. You'll be tried more strictly, and a teacher as well. And that's why I think it's Paul, usually a safe bet for the New Testament, advises, like, you know, think carefully and take it. In Ephesians, we see that it is given to some to be teachers and shepherds and apostles and blah, 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 like the rest of the vocation, or some of them, because you are under a stricter scrutiny. Because if you're going to teach, you better be teaching the right stuff, because otherwise you're causing your brethren to stumble. And yeah, that's why you need to be in touch with the Holy Spirit and the Bible, and don't listen to anyone who says like no sola scriptura, because maybe they just haven't seen the verses I've seen or watched the video I made, to be fair. Thank you, a big red G. Thank you very much. I love an amen. I'm not American or anything, but I do like I'll never be like, can I get an amen? But I appreciate. Yes, exactly that, Jordan. They have more responsibility, like ethereally, celestially, like eternally. That's like, the thing is, the yoke is easy, as it were. Like, you know, the cup is light, and like, it's a blessing and a privilege to teach, to do that. And anyone who's worried about people with ovaries, or women, as I like to call them, because I'm very old-fashioned, like, I can sort that out for you as well if you've, I don't know, read some scriptures and got a bit scared from the one verse. But yeah, I won't do that now, because I don't have all of the notes that I could use. I do have some. But yeah, so questions. I got a funny, not a funny story, but an embarrassing story in a minute. I don't mind. But it's basically, there's this guy I know, and I know him reasonably well. He's very, very attractive. Like, that's just a statement of fact at this stage. It's not any, like, you know, I'm not, I don't know, citing any wishes or anything, but I'm just saying, very attractive. And he said to me the other day, so embarrassing, like, he said, oh my gosh, you look $1 million. And I just, because I have difficulty, even like with the psychology experience that I have difficulty accepting compliments face to face, and as a knee jerk I always make a joke, always, but this one was just a clanger. Like, so he goes, oh, you look $1 million. And I was like, what, in old money? And then I could hear myself speaking. And you know, when you just think like, well, I don't know if it happens to you, but I was like, yes, I am still single, why do you ask? That kind of vibe, like, just so embarrassing. And then, oh my gosh, then I got onto the fact that dollars are not worth as much as pounds. Like, and I just kept going, you know, like out of, I don't know, like the after effect of receiving a compliment when I'm not psyched up and ready for it. So embarrassing. But yeah, there's my embarrassing story for you. Nice love. Oh, you're welcome, Repent. You're very welcome. I just thought I was gonna, what was I gonna do? I would have done a bit of a walk, but I mean, it's like dark now in London, and not that I'm, you know, like scaredy, cowdy custard. However, trying to do a stream and fend off muggers might be a bit of a bit one. Sorry if anyone can't see the chat. That just tickled me. That really did tickle me. I wonder what the conversion. I wonder what the conversion rate is for shekels. Yeah, I literally have some old money. This is the thing, and that's why it was kind of in my subconscious. Let me find it, because the person who passed away, my family member, me also actually to a certain degree, like I've collected coins over the years just as a kind of, I don't know, just as one of those things. Hi, David. So the one I have on me, which is for like, you can't actually see, it's Georgian, but you won't, like it's been, obviously it's more than a couple of 100 years, so I don't know if you can, yeah, that's the rubbed away imprint of George there. And this, let me make sure, yeah, so this is one penny, by the way, an old penny, but that is Britannia. That's what's left of Britannia, bless her. But that light is getting in the way, and now I can't see because of the chat. So let me, anyway, so if you've ever seen any of our, I don't know if she's on any of the modern coinage. I'm not sure that she is. On the penny we have a portcullis. I think on pence we have the Prince of Wales crest. On the 5 pence, no, I don't think she's on any of our money anymore, even though she is like ever so slightly pagan. Like, I won't tell if you won't. But I like that kind of legendy sort of, I don't see any problem at all, despite what Bob says about patriotism, or, you know, God says himself, I gave to them their languages, the boundaries of their habitations, etc. Like, God is a recognizer of nations. Of course he is. Israel is his chosen nation. No masks at the moment. I am troll, although I am like more than 2 meters away from anybody. But no, we've relaxed it greatly now. It's just in public transport situations, and even then, to be fair, like I stopped a little while ago just because I don't know if you've ever seen my streams before, but my nose, since the introduction of the mask, and that's a good 17-18 months now, I've had like some form of maybe non-allergenic rhinitis, like just my nose is often blocked and painful, so I've just foregone, like eschewed the mask, as it were, altogether, because I just wanted to see, because it's a bit of a coinkydink that I started wearing it. Yeah, I know, yeah, they are pretty unhealthy, and they don't prevent, yeah, I'd rather not, I am troll, I mean, just chuck it in the bin, seems a bit extreme, but yeah, they're not healthy. It's not healthy to breathe in exhaled air to start with. Yes, Jordan, that's it. Matthew 14:27, as far as I'm aware, it says the thing. And ethnos is like, sorry, I was on masks and then I'll come back to that. Yeah, when he says go and make disciples of all nations, that is ethnos in the Koine, which is ethnicities, like everybody is what it's saying. You know, the whole world also is referenced. So I'm not repeating that one. I'm surprised Dragon hasn't like jumped on that, but maybe she's nipped off for a minute. But yeah, that's pretty fun. She hasn't, sorry. Thank you, Jay. I do enjoy seeing you around the place. You do say lovely things. The BHI, mate, it's just so embarrassing. There's so many different camps, and there's a guy I used to watch. He's still doing stuff. He's called G-Man, just literally into YouTube, G-Man, and he just goes around, similar to Sam's one with there's one with Vocab, David and John, and then he's got another one with Anthony, like just spanked them so ridiculously, and they don't even know they're getting spanked at the end of the day, because it's like, I don't know, like spiritually deafened. But they were saying that Bruce Lee was an Israelite. By faith, they were saying it because he can fight. David was probably an Israelite because he can beatbox. You know, and they're just like making it up as they go along. But it is pretty like spiteful at its core, and some of them, it's utter blasphemy of the spirit. I think IUIC, I wouldn't want to say which ones actually, because I'm not 100% sure, but some of them believe that Joseph is the father of Jesus, and you know, Sam just schooled them utterly. It was hilarious. He sent it to me when it came out, and like I said, what do you think? And I just thought it was one of the funniest things I'd seen in ages. He just he's got the right kind of temperament, you know, that kind of like aggressive sort of thing. I would he's not really I mean, I've got him in my phone, and I don't know what it is that's taken him away, or that he feels the need. I do know someone who's in more regular contact with him. I will ask, but I believe, to be fair, that if he was going to do any like video, I guess it would be with Hatton because of his associations with DCCI. Like, I don't know, but yeah, I'd be happy to do it. But it's just getting in touch with him. I think the last I heard from him was like a Christmas text or something like that. But I assume he's well, because I would have heard otherwise, if you see what I mean. The chat just pops off. I wonder if there's a setting where I can just tell it to stop getting involved in my settings. But it would be in the settings, obviously, so that would be a bit redundant. I don't know. What else? Oh, I spoke to Ash. You know, Ashawama, I don't know if you remember him, former Hebrew Israelite, or he still like identifies that way, but he is a Christian. But then, yeah, I spoke to him, and a couple of the little things that he was telling me didn't sit like quite right with me, but I gave him the verse that refuted it, so hopefully he heard it. But it's so easy to, like, the precept upon precept and line upon line, it's very easy to build a house of cards, and then you have one verse that comes along and just like decimates it, because it's not. And that's the brilliance of the Holy Spirit, to be fair, is that the nuance and the harmonics, like, you will come up to a brick wall if you try to, for example, like say that, I don't know, that like modalism, you will come up against verses that refute it, and Sabellianism, and I don't know, like whatever heresies it is, you will find generally Paul is on the ball, because he's just like resigned to the fact that he can leave a church and 27 minutes later they've just gone proper wonky, and then he has to sit down and write a letter. But to be fair, he had quite a bit of time when he was banged up, so it kept him busy. Kryptonite, yes, I do know that he's fine. He is in yeah, I have his number. Yeah, he's fine. He's unable to attend. I won't, like, yeah, there's no drama at all. He just the travelling that he does in order to attend is not very feasible at the moment due to restrictions and all of that stuff. So yeah, there's no issue with him. It would be good actually to do some sort of something with him, but yeah, I'll have to ask. He's very like full on, as you all know. So yeah, it'd be a blessing, but I don't know that he's ever really done a sit down chat. He's done one with me, like just at the park. We've sat on the benches. I think one of them is in a Mr. X stream. Maybe I'll clip that out. But it's only brief, because he's so focused on would you sleep with a 9-year-old, you know, that kind of thing. Paperboy's fine, Martin. Yes, Paperboy is good. I've like, I feel like I've questioned him quite severely about like, when you coming back though, bro, when you coming though, fam. But he's very, he likes to be prepared. He likes to bring either presentations or, you know, like his job is pretty pressured at different times of the year, and then there are times when he has more like downtime, as it were. So he's welcome to do a stream. I think we did start making a video, like just about his testimony, like just about how he came to, you know, the park, etc. At that time, I think he had issues with his Wi-Fi, and he was like, yeah, there were people in his house at that time, so it was a bit like we just put it aside. But and then he just does, he knows it's pending, but I don't think he's a really off the cuff kind of guy. Like he likes to, do a presentation, as it were. Whereas I'm just like all about the cuff. Do you know what? That question is not as, a big red. So there is a verse in the Bible that says, that advances hospitality, and it says, because in that manner some have entertained angels. Like, as in, if a stranger turns up at your door, do invite them in, etc., and extend to them courtesies, because in that fashion some have entertained angels. So it's not out of the realms of possibility. I've read some brilliant anecdotes over the years about angelic intervention and protection. Not all necessarily, none of them verified, as it were, but yeah. Let's see. Oh, somebody's calling me, but they can just waffle off because I told them I'm doing a stream. Go away. So I Am Troll is saying that they are American and they would like to come to Speaker's Corner, and they have 20 years of salvation under their belt and a checkered past. I'm going to go with that. From some kind of capital, although not for flower arranging, Chicago. Yeah, I'd love that. If you look, these people, seriously, persistence is an excellent trait, but when someone says to you, I'm going to go and do a live stream, and then they don't answer their phone, oh, lovely, 5 voicemail, oh, great, text message, why not? But, there's a bug, sorry. Obviously, fear not, etc. Cast your anxieties onto the Lord, but I don't want to be bitten, because I don't react to it, and they love me with a passion. I mean, I know, love is the way in that, but I'm alright, thanks. So, yeah. So, yeah, testimonies are an excellent thing. I Am Troll. I don't know if you ever recorded yours, but it'd be an idea, even just in writing. David Wilkerson, The Sword and the Switchblade, The Cross and the Switchblade, is a story of a pastor working with gangs, I think New York most probably, and the miraculous nature of the conversion of some of those guys, etc. Hi, Bowen. There's also a good book by, I think, Jackie Pullinger, or about her. She worked with opium addicts in, I want to say Hong Kong or China, without culturally appropriating or getting terrorized by SJWs. But yeah, it was over them sides, and she just basically prayed them out of it. Some of them were delivered utterly, no withdrawal symptoms. Others had it, but she did brilliant work in the walled city. So it's got to be China, surely. I don't know why I'm calling you Shirley, but yeah. So yeah, they're good. I've considered mine. I really was going to do one. I've watched David's, which is pretty motivating, but David isn't in public with Muslims all the time, so it's just basically I'd be handing over ammunition, even though it's all to the glory of God, as obviously. But yeah, maybe I'll think about doing it for the members or something like that. It should, if it helps even one person, really I should. I'll have to think about it. Maybe I'll do an edited version. I Am Troll. I find that, as to the last little group that you mentioned, the ones that are we say at Her Majesty's pleasure, but otherwise engaged for a number of years. To be fair, it's very different in America, but our prison system, I'd go out on a limb and say, I know what I'm talking about, it's pretty slanted in terms of, if you declare a religion, when you go in, you get differing treatment, especially Islam, I'm going to say. However, hang on, is it? Yes, it is motion activated again. No, Valwan, I won't. It's not finished yet. It is almost finished. So yeah, it's a good. You've got a captive audience, is what I'm trying to say to you. So letter writing, and I know that you've got other things to think about when you're in prison in America, to be fair. However, what's the harm? If the Holy Spirit decides that this is the time, then this is the time, and you could be the instrument of getting the gospel to them. So that'd be great. No ashtray, because obviously no smoking, and fake grass on the floor. So what are we gonna? This is a pose up. What are we gonna? I have to just look for something fireproof to. What have I got? Tissue. Hardly inflammable, but whatever. It's done now. Dragon, such a little blessing. Oh, and by the way, Dragon, that video that you referenced in the DMs, like I've been speaking to a couple of people, Bob as well, and like they're of the opinion similar to mine that if you give someone airtime, you know, especially just trolls, there's nothing, there's no real meat in the accusations or the mockery. There's nothing to refute. Like it's just, I still haven't listened to it, but it sounds pretty boring from what you said and from what other people have told me. And I just don't find them interested enough to want to refute them because, yeah. Oh, Isaiah Ben Yahweh. That is a good question. There is a place in Shoreditch, but the chef had some family issues. He's gone abroad, back home. He's, I think, the best. I don't know about the best because he might be watching this, but he is up there. Like I think I basically offered to marry him at one point, like because he's not a British national, and I think just for the food parcel, I would have heavily considered it. But yeah, he's brilliant. That's in Shoreditch. It's still there. The other, like, there's another lady who eats there. If you just not DM me, you can Skype me, I guess, or you can just put it in the comments and I'll tell you, and then maybe delete it. Then I don't have to click the button that says this has advertisements or whatever. But yeah, that's lovely. They're normally just individual places. Yes, Bowen, I do eat and like Indian food. I like to cook, to be fair. So what did I cook last? Pork belly in sticky cola, like sauce with like ginger and spring onions and rice. What else did I do with it? I didn't do potatoes. That was it, really. English food, yeah. I like roast chicken, roast dinner, like Sunday dinner. Fish and chips, pie mash. If anybody, well, you can't get it abroad, so sorry. But yeah, there's not really any. Let me think. I'm not a fan of like fish curry or fish. I like fish, but not like fillet of fish or any, like, not bread and fish or curry and fish. I don't know why. It's not my bag. Yes, exactly. I like to cook because then you know what's in there, and you know it's like, obviously if you trust the chefs. But there's an Indian restaurant. Well, the guy's not Indian, he's from Bangladesh, but I think I first ate in there like a couple of decades ago. Like I went regularly, and I still know him. I did make a little mistake of starting to polemicize Islam while I was in there, but he's known me so long. He was pretty stunned that I knew the things that I knew. But I hope I didn't tick him off because I love eating there. Like, it's very nice, and it's like I don't know, very reasonable as well. So, yeah. But yeah, I will put the names if you're in London. Like, probably. What kind of snacks is the Queen packing? I'm going to go with swan, pheasant. So the royal family, or the Queen specifically, I guess, is allowed to eat swan. Nobody else is. It's illegal. I don't think that I'd want to, but bizarrely, like pheasant, I guess she eats whatever the heck she wants to. Like cheese on toast in bed. She is the Queen, literally. So. Yeah, we do have. So Lebanese is another favourite of mine, like a lot. Just certain dishes, Turkish, West Indian. I can't say that I know of any Mexican. Yes, I do. What a fibber! They've got like Day of the Dead, like decoration in the upstairs lavatories. That's what I remember about that restaurant. That's in North London. Taco places. I guess there must be. I don't think she eats long pig though, Big Reggie. I don't think she's on the human meat tip, although I don't think she's a lizard either, so you know. I think, bless her, do you know what? In all seriousness, I think the Queen is, I actually believe she's a Christian, whereas with the others, I'm like, yeah, well, I love her. But yeah, I think she is a defender of the faith. I believe her. I can't believe her own government equated like Christian prayer to torture. I was raging, like I was literally bouncing up, like, you know, jumping up and down when I saw that. Couldn't believe it, because the leader of the house is a Catholic as well. Like, Uber Eats is a ting, yes. I shouldn't advertise, although there are other food delivery services obviously available. So yeah, but that's like, imagine this. Like, I was going through old photographs for the funeral, and there's my great granny, and I remember, like, I've seen her. I remember her as an old lady, and then I see her as a young lady prior to her multiple children, because in those days they had like larger families. And then it's not only because she looks like stunningly older, even though I know like what age she is, but it's unreal. Like, you think not only the childbirth in and of itself and the caring, you know, but that's without any iPods or TVs to sit them in front of. That's doing your washing by hand, no washing machine, no elevators, no food delivery, like literally hand washing stuff, carrying, lugging, you know, caring for a husband who I guess is out at work doing a similarly like menial or labor intensive job. Like, that's why they don't make people like that anymore. That's why we don't have that standard of like a character anymore. That's why, yeah, they're just, I can't think of a word other than pussifying. What's the word? That's why, like, you know, I don't know. I read a thing called How Not to Be a Millennial. It's brilliant. I should read it actually. I'll have to see what the copyright is. But it's humorous, like it's tongue in cheek, but it's just like, it's so true. Like, there's kids out there who are adhering to like medical diagnoses they don't have, like, because everybody has to have a diagnosis, like depression or bipolar or whatever. They're taking the meds. Some of them are sleeping with genders that they're not attracted to because it's trendier to be a lesbian or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just embarrassing, really. And they've got, I don't know, man, very little like transferable skills other than, I don't know, victimhood maybe. But that's not to say the generation after them, I don't know, like, why. It's weird, they seem to got targeted, or they were just in the wrong place at the wrong time, that generation. But yeah, they won't make any like the old school ones, the old school that you still were on a slate with a piece of chalk, that kind of old school. Yeah, that's just gone now. It's weird because they were honest, but only up to a point, like not in terms of authority or government. Yeah, except they wouldn't be able to get a degree because that's a system of oppressive patriarchy potentially, and everybody knows on Wednesdays we smash the patriarchy or whatever it is. Like, what's wrong with men all of a sudden? Like, I don't get it. Feminists somehow, like, unless it's all a plan. But yeah, feminism somehow got women into a position where it's so good to be a woman that now men want to get involved. And by default, if you're a man who's cisgendered or whatever you call it, yeah, just a man, like who's still a man, then you're clearly evil and literally Hitler, don't you know? It all seems legit. If you're like a loon or susceptible to Marxism, and no class struggle left now. It's just gender and colour. It's pretty passé, really. But that's the thing about like youth. It's wasted on the young. Like, by the time you know what you're doing, you're like, oh, shucks. Like, I'm not young enough to be influencing other young people, as it were. But yeah, I don't know. Right, I don't know, 2/3 through my drink. I guess maybe another ciggy. But I've been going for an hour and 3. I haven't got a great deal of travelling to get home. And to be fair, it's not even Friday night. Look at me, like it's the weekend. No, I ain't. Just fibbing accidentally. But yeah, I was thinking it's Friday night, and then I was thinking, it's pretty quiet in here, really. Although I haven't been in here for years, and they didn't have this garden here, and I did. So yeah, actually, Jordan, I agree. I'm getting hungry. I don't know what I bought for dinner. You know when you can't be bothered, like when it gets to a certain time. Probably, yeah, I already have pasta and something in the fridge, so I'll just eat it cold. Thank you, Dragon. That's charming. I wish the same, obviously, for you also. Okay, don't just accept these charming comments without like praying that you will receive them back again as well. Yeah, anybody who's interested to join, who hasn't already, obviously, to join the Bible app. At least some of us are on there, some of the admins and some of the members. And we sometimes do, Jordan, that's the point. We sometimes do Bible plans, but I don't think we have yet. So, yeah, I'll find one, a female-centric one maybe. Like I'm not Jermaine Greer over here, but it's interesting, the history of women in the early church. It's really interesting. There's church leaders. Paul gives them like, you know, preeminent respect, like before mentioning other male, you know, says they are my colleagues in the commission of this gospel kind of thing, or as in the preaching of it, the spreading of it. So this patriarchal, like down on women that came, like, you know, was prevalent in the Middle Ages is not biblical. Like Lydia, even Deborah from the Old Testament, you know, there's loads of them. Junia, can't think. Lydia was a seller of purple. It's mental, isn't it? Like as a thing to write on the census. A seller of purple, bro. Purple what? Just purple. Just keeping it basic. But yeah. Hi, Armour God. Where you been, fam? People kind, I thought they got you, bro. Hi, Jeff. Yeah, Armour God, I thought they got you. Like I thought the people kinds, like, it's a worry, eh? See, that's my little throw out. Nice. I've been learning Latin since I did that walk around the other day and didn't know the word on the inscription. So I put my Arabic on hold and I'm doing Latin now. Vil, everyone, it's like the gang's all here. After an hour and 6 minutes. I've just been killing time till you got here. No rush, ever. Like, yeah, so I will do another. So tomorrow I have to have an appointment to keep, like helping somebody taking their dog to the vet. That's quite a way around. Sorry, did I read that right? Man like H, I'd like evidence, please, in the comment section. Like, do it now, do it now, do it now, please. Oh, yeah, well, Vil, you're excused because you're in a bizarre parallel timeline, weird time traveller thing. But the rest of everyone are in real life. So, yeah, that's all right. I'm glad. It's nice to have everyone around. Yeah, Hatton's doing fine. Yeah, she's doing fine. I spoke to her Sunday. And then, like, just a couple of text messages. Oh, go away, you freak of nature. Sorry. Sorry. I'm sure it's a lovely bug of nondescript, like whatever it is. My house, by the way, anyone who's missing the old days when I used to have the monster hunts, like it is full on. No, I don't want to say full on because I just tempt him like fate, but it is Jumanji-esque at the moment. I had a wasp twice who knows its way around my house enough to fly out of one window and then catch me unawares, like by coming in a different window when I run out of the room screaming like somebody does it like wasps. Oh, Moth, son of Mothra. Do you remember that? Oh my gosh, that was out. Oh, that was so bad. But I think the worst was the BLM spider with the knife. That dude. That I got rid of that Hoover. No joke. I hoovered it up, and then I hoovered the son of Mothra up, and then I got rid of the whole Hoover. Oh, you think I'm joking? I thought I had to move the other night because there was a daddy long legs and a moth in my kitchen. So I just slammed the door and I was like, okay, I'll just have to get a new kitchen or never eat again or move. Like, and at the time with the adrenaline, like I'm half serious. I'm like, well, I'll just never be able to go in there again. I don't know where it, because I sprayed it and I didn't know where it dropped. And I was like, oh, I can just never go in there again. So there is a moth carcass somewhere. I don't know if they disintegrate. Yes, that's it. I trod on a slug once with my bare foot. I was considering amputation for a hot second. Like, oh, I bet you, Armour of God, I reckon everything in your country is like pacified. I don't know how you look. Yeah, it's not Australia. Australia's got the like beefy spiders who just carry weapons and that. But yeah, we've just got the regular creepy as fudge ones, as it were. I don't know how to feel about that, Daffyd. I'm not quite sure what you're referring to, so I'll just keep my one drink. I'm going to say one drink. It's the same one that I came in with, and assume it's something different. I don't know. So yeah, but yeah, it's getting a bit that way again with the bugs. But thank God I've been closing all the windows and that, because it's not 34 degrees as it was last year. It's just like autumn already, it seems like. So they haven't been disturbing my streams. But yeah, weird, isn't it? Like no moths at all, just tiny little, I don't know what they are. But if I was indoors with that sort of light and my window open, they'll be in like Flynn. Yeah, but oh my God, Peter Parker got some perks, like, and a snazzy outfit, to be fair. Like I just got bug spray and, I don't know, a charming personality. Yeah, I don't think I'd be comfortable, villainous, like having to check to go to the toilet. I mean, in case there's like a 6-foot snake under the rim or spider with a weapon. Like, I just think they've got a poor attitude over there. The wildlife, obviously. Even the kangaroos try and knock you out. Like, what is going on? They've got made-up animals. It's just crazy. No, I'm still not taking the phone call, but thank you for trying. Yeah. Oh, chicken's just, yeah. Yeah, right, so I better go in a minute. I guess I'll finish the drink. I can't really take you out in the street with me. Another voicemail, because they're not fast enough to just put the phone down as soon as they hear my voice. Yeah, Australia, I mean, it'd be lovely if it wasn't full of Australians. I'm joking. It's the wildlife, it's the wildlife. Like, I just can't do it. Yeah, they're heat lamps, to be honest. The ones over there are that they got the bars and the big light thingy. They're not. I don't believe they're the. Thank you, thank you for the meme. I love a meme. But yeah, I don't think they're the bug zappers. They're normally blue, aren't they? I don't know. Exactly, Armour of God, Crocodile Dundee, all the way. But that's like. That's disturbing, villainous. Like, and that's just on like just light entertainment in Australia. Yeah. Can't they pick them off themselves, the kangaroos? Sorry for anyone who can't see the chat, obviously, but can't they pick their own ticks, as it were, kangaroos? I thought they had little dexterous. They got fists. Of course they got fingers. Like, what are they just coercing them into picking them off for them? I guess too much, mate. Too much. Freakishness. Then again, the duck-billed platypus just smashed it, really. After that, I mean, yeah. Yes, please. Or just send it to me on the DMs, Phil. But I can't promise I'll watch it because I got to eat food yet. I do like. There was a kangaroo, Roger. He was featured in a show, and he was in the newspaper over here. He was funny. He just kept like chasing and trying to attack the guy who like rescued him and brought him up or whatever it was. Roger. I think he died. He had a chest like a bodybuilder, like he was hench. It was just unreal. But yeah. Right, next topic of combo before I wrap it up. Anybody? Yeah, so we got silly mockery that's being picked up by Dawa channels that I'm not going to respond to because there's nothing of any substance. We've got no news that I know of, and I think I would have been informed of any progress in catching the attempted murderer of Hatton. Which one? What, Discord, Phil? I don't know what you're asking about. KVJ, sorry, I don't know what that is, I'm afraid. I don't know what you're referring to. If you could, I don't know, expand a little bit. Oh, the Bible app is U version, villainous. U, Yankee Oscar, Victor Echo Romeo Sierra India Oscar November, U version. You're on it anyway. Well, not a lot, but you do have it somewhere, unless you deleted it accidentally. Everybody else is welcome to come along and do some apps with Vil, who will say yes, Bible plans, and then see him again. We'll do like one comment and then he's done. Yes, that's what I want to know. Man like H, what you're chatting about with Raj now? What is Raj doing? And why was the word naked thrown about in the same sentence as running around London? I think it's a need to know basis, and I've got a feeling I need to know. Because that's like bizarro. Cause it's not that warm, to be fair. David Moen, I think it's one of the most outrageously unintelligent theories I've heard some nonsense, as you might imagine, in Speaker's Corner. But it's one of the most redundant, counterintuitive, doesn't even make sense from a conspiracy angle, because like I've said a few times now, if I wanted someone to make it, if I was disingenuous for a start and dishonest, and I wanted someone, like I wanted to stage an attack in order to score points, or like villainize Muslims, to be fair, I wouldn't need to. I'd just look on the internet and show them like any mujahideen like massacres or whatever. Then like, even if notwithstanding any of that, I wouldn't be saying, can you just swing an 8-inch like big blade at my face, please? You know what I mean? I would like maybe say, slap this cheek and I'll turn the other cheek, or throw some water and we'll pretend that I thought it was, like, you know, it's so silly. And it's a result of the cognitive dissonance of Muslim apologists, who are forced into holding two contradictory ideas at the same time as both valid, you know, that Islam is the religion of peace, and yet praising the Taliban's takeover of Afghanistan and the introduction of Sharia, which they know is the religion of peace, is like the legal system of oppression. And you know, it's utterly ridiculous to say that someone can be stoned to death, and yet it's solely peaceful, if you see what I mean. And especially like for wearing a skirt, or for, you know, like even Muhammad wore dresses or female garments. So I mean, what's the drama? I know, every time I hear the religion of peace is struck, I think those Buddhists, they're at it again. It's outrageous. Oh man, like H, this is getting so sinister. Like, I'm unsure how to feel right now. But hopefully there's an explanation that doesn't involve me looking at footage of like what I just saw in my own mind, to be fair. Yeah, I'm decided. I don't know that I want to see any evidence of it. But right, it's been 1 hour and 17, I reckon. So, yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna be getting on in a second. Yeah, the thing is, David, oftentimes we had a politician, John Prescott, somebody threw an egg in his face once. He was doing like a walk along, you know, the public were all lined up, and it's just instinctive. He just like gave the guy 2 jabs, I think, like in his jaw or whatever. But you would, if at close range someone hurls something at you, your instinct is like protective. So yeah, so I don't think that yeah, there's nothing that calls for Christians to be pacifists, actually. I mean, there's that we don't fight against the flesh, etc., but it's not talking about specific instances of being attacked and allowing, you know, because, for example, if you're the head of a household, I don't know, in this scenario you have young children, if you turn the other cheek and literally step out of the way, the chances are your children might be physically, do you know what I mean? We're called to assist the needy and to protect the weak, etc. So yeah, and that the weak is us. Like, on any given day, we take turns being weak, and the rest of us rally round. So yeah, I remember that Prescott thing. I was like, go on, mate. I was pretty impressed. Yeah, there is such a thing as like justified war, righteous war. The theologians of the Roman Catholic, well, there was only the Roman Catholic Church. Was it after the schism? Either way, Urban the Second, Pope Urban the Second, he managed, where his predecessors had failed, to theologically justify the First Crusade. So yeah, it's doable, and it's doable through love, as it were. If you know your brethren are suffering and dying needlessly at the hands of Satan, basically, then you can make a strong case to go and protect them, which militarily would be seen as an attack, rather than slipping in the back door and defending, if you know what I mean. Because Muhammad was always defending, as we all know, like not so much. But anyway. Yeah, holy war, crusading even. Yeah, I got some decent literature on past crusades. Not all of them. There's been a few, to be fair. Some of them were pretty like ill-advised or pointless. Good night, I am Troll. I'm going soon myself, bless you, because I got to walk out onto the mean streets, as it were. So yeah, I'm going to make a move soon as well. So it's been lovely having the company, etc. And I'm going to press the first button any minute. So yeah, I'll see you all again soon. And like maybe I'll put a community post when I get home, so you could all stop panicking that I've gone out mugging people. I mean, you know. All right, I'll see you soon. God bless, and yeah, take care. Bye bye.